Hi, I'm Lindsey.
And this is Best Friends Nonsense.
Okay, I guess we should say hi, huh?
Hi.
Hi. Welcome back. Episode 14.
Oh, I can't even keep track.
It's okay.
My brain is like, I'm not here.
Yep. And I'm going to be that YouTuber and say, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Please. We're going to remind you at the end, too.
Yes, we will.
It's like our
because
job.
it's like our job or something. Which, I mean, we're back and forth. Like, we don't want this to be like feeling like it's a job. So, but, because it's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be like our outlet away from your hectic life and my way of being a human and not just someone's mom.
Yeah.
So, it's supposed to be fun.
You get to be Lindsey.
Yes.
And I get to be Hef, and I never get to be Hef.
Right.
Like, I never get to be that. That was weird. It's fun.
Yeah. So, is it a job? I don't know. Could be, I guess. Did you write anything down for your catch-up this week?
I wrote one singular thing. Oh, and I was dying laughing last night. I was telling my manager, I was like, I am putting this on my podcast because it was the funniest thing. And the more I tell people, the more I'm like, I don't know why I thought this was as funny as it was, but he also thought it was that funny, and so did everybody else
Okay.
at work.
Yeah.
So, I don't even have to look at it, but because I wrote it down, I'm going to look at it. Okay. So, first I'm gonna like put this out here as a question. Do you eat ribs with your hands or like a knife and fork? I know you don't really.
I was about to say,
meat,
I've seen people eat them mostly with their hands.
Yes. Okay. So, without, of course, because I don't want people to know where I work.
Right.
But, lots of restaurants sell ribs, and my restaurant is one of them. And I was bartending last night, and I was doing my dishes, and my manager comes up, and this is my favorite manager, the youngest manager. He's like a couple years younger than me, which always makes me feel old, and I tell him about it all the time. And I'm going to show him this, so he's going to be like, yeah. But I lost my train of thought. This is what happened.
Well, look at your notes. That's what you wrote it down for.
No, I didn't. So anyway, I know what happened. I was like, it's going to be fresh enough in my memory. I don't have to write the whole thing down. I should have. But anyway.
That's why I write every little thing down.
Yeah. But he comes up to me and he's talking about, hey, we got this like survey back because, we've got the little things. You do a little survey at the end of your meal. And he said that one of the comments said that if we're going to be a place that sells ribs, then we should really have the wet naps for your hands. And he looked at me and he said, Heather, are people seriously out here eating ribs with their hands?
Yes.
And I looked at him and I was like, I was dumbfounded. I was speechless. I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, wait a minute. Back up for a second. Because you're thinking that's weird. I'm thinking, have you never seen somebody eat ribs?
Ever?
And he's like, I love ribs. I love our ribs. I eat them with a knife and a fork. I thought that was normal. And I was like, no.
No, that's like eating pizza with a knife and a fork.
Yeah. Like, you only do it when it's scalding hot and you can't hold it with your hand.
Yeah.
And then once it's cool enough to be able to hold it, you hold it.
Right.
You transfer.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I've seen my mom eat some ribs, and she does not use a knife and fork.
Yeah. See, like, I use a knife to separate my ribs, like, to cut them apart.
Right.
And
nobody's savage around here.
Right.
Right.
Like, I'm not going to just pick up the whole thing and start gnawing on the bones. But I make it to where it's easy for me to just pick up and eat it off the bone.
Yeah.
It's how you eat ribs. That's the thing.
Right. So what was his answer?
He was like, no, I had no idea. He was like, people do this? Like, this is a normal thing? And I was like, how do you not know that this is a normal thing? So I go back there and I'm like, wait a minute, hold on.
Everyone,
hold on a
stop
second.
what you're
Everybody,
doing.
this is more important than anything that you are doing right now. How do you eat ribs? And they were like,
Shh, quiet.
with my hands, or one person said, like, you're supposed to eat them like a barbarian. Like, you're
Yeah.
supposed to look like that. And it was so funny. 'Cause he was in such shock that that was a real thing.
And he's born and raised here.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know his full origin story,
Well, him just personally,
but I mean, I know that he trained or he originally was at a store, not our store, but one not far off. So,
but always in this part of Ohio is what I'm asking.
I don't know how somebody would be from anywhere in the United States and not know that people eat ribs with their hands.
Right.
Though.
Right.
Like, maybe if you've spent all of your life in, like, very proper
That's
places.
what I mean.
Like,
But
what, like,
in this part of Ohio, we're not proper here.
yeah, we're not proper in this area of the country entirely.
No.
Like, no.
Yeah. That's wild.
That was the funniest thing that has happened to me. It was like,
I love when that happens at the restaurant just because you get to, like, just make everybody else's day at the same
yeah,
time.
it was so funny. That was the best part of my day yesterday. That was so funny. It was worth getting my schedule switched at the last second, because Sunday, which this past Sunday was Mother's Day. Of course, you guys are seeing this next week. But our night shift bartender came in at 4:00 when he was scheduled to be there. And at like 5:15, somebody was like, yeah, he just walked out. Yeah, he just left. Just walked out and quit. So I was supposed to actually open yesterday serving. And they switched things around because it's easier to find a server to cover something than a
Right.
bartender.
Yeah.
So they switched me to bartending last night and then switched somebody else to opening today or yesterday. But so it was my first night bar shift. So that was fun. So now I've got 3 full shifts under my belt. And this Saturday I'm the night bartender. Saturday night
Yeah.
by myself. I'm scared.
I can't blame you.
But they're going to give me like a really small section and then just my bar top.
Okay.
So then I just have to worry about whoever comes in and sits in my bar, those 2 tables, and then the drinks.
Yeah.
So I should be fine.
You should be. for
I'm not
sure.
too worried. Plus, I already know my management team that I'm going to have that night. So I know that it's going to be one manager or the other, and it's my 2 favorite managers. So
Oh,
I'm like,
okay.
okay, the energy in there and the way that they both are able to keep things running at like controlled chaos at the worst, I'm going to be fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
That's
so
all I got.
That's all your update? That's all you have? I mean, how you didn't get to spend your mother what?
We built a playset for my nieces in
You
the backyard.
Built
We got
it?
it built, yeah.
Yay!
And my uncle almost broke his finger.
Oh, great.
Yeah. And then at work we did upgrade our computer thingies. I pinched my hand today.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't look as, you can't really tell with
Yeah,
the
but I
with
can see
pink
the
lights that we've
indent
got.
in it, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is it like, you know how sometimes when you pinch it and pinch your skin and something really tight, it like doesn't fully break the skin, but you can see the separation and like the layers underneath, and it just didn't break all the way through. That's what's happening here.
Yeah, I used to get
But then
blood
over here, there's
blisters.
like a little slit in like the top layer of my skin over here.
Huh.
It's weird.
Yeah. I used to get blood blisters on like my middle fingers when I would plug Boo Boo into her seat
Yeah.
because like it would pinch me really fast and like ow, and I would get them like here all the time and it sucked. But I finally figured out how to plug it in without hurting myself.
Yeah.
Or she's big enough now that we don't have to worry about plugging her in anymore, and she just sits there.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, so like she said, last week was, what to you guys, last week was Mother's Day.
Yeah.
So it was our recent one. So in my update is Mother's Day. But so you that's so hard to say.
What is happening?
2 weeks ago, on Wednesday, my dumb self. Okay, so like Facebook Reels, right?
Yes.
I got stuck in because they originally showed me the my 600-pound life.
Yeah.
I got stuck in that. I watched like the full hour and a half of this thing. That's the longest reel I've seen, by the way. It was like an hour and a half. But it was one of those episodes, and it was so unsatisfying because she got to where she lost the weight to get the surgery, because the doctor makes you like prove it to him that you'll actually work on it if you get the weight, what is it?
It's like a
lap band thing. Yeah. So he makes it like they have to lose a certain amount of weight, and that proves to them that they'll actually do it.
That you're actually going to do the work,
Yeah.
and you're not just trying to get the easy way out.
Exactly. So she got there, and then COVID hit, and she couldn't do the surgery. And so it comes back, and it's like a couple months after, like they're still in 2020, and she's like, I'm not going to give up. Like this one, actually, you could tell she was trying so hard, because like she's like, I'm going to keep going. I need to do this for my son. I'm going to do this for my husband, and all this stuff. And I could really tell that she was trying. And so I hope she did get the surgery. I couldn't find any updates from it or anything, but I was just like, I want to know. Like,
Yeah.
did she get everything done? So, and then I scrolled. That's where it gets bad, because it was already like 1 a.m. And then I kept scrolling, and they kept showing me Grey's Anatomy stuff. And I don't like the actual show, but the little clips, I get stuck.
Yeah.
Because I have no idea what's happening, but I'm like, this is so entertaining.
Yeah.
And so
I'm the same way. I've
Yes.
never gotten into watching Grey's Anatomy.
yeah, I can't. I cry, and I'm like,
Yeah. I can't be that sad all the time.
yes.
My depression is bad
yes.
enough.
Yes,
I'm
the
good.
emotional what's the word?
torment, turmoil.
Turmoil. Yes, I can't say what he told me. I can't do that to myself. I'm already such a person
Yeah.
that adding that, because my empatheticness is like, oh, they're real people and this is actually happening, and it's like that's always worst case scenario stuff though.
Yeah.
Like, But anyway, I stayed up till 4 a.m. and then had to get up at like 9. And I'm like, why do I do this to myself? Why did I do that? Because I was a zombie that day.
That's how I was last night. I didn't go to sleep until 3. And I woke up at 8.
Wow.
It's gross. I hated it.
Yeah. I don't know. I was a zombie. But then, like, I had coffee and I woke up. But then that's also when the day that Mom wanted to borrow Boo Boo for a Mother's Day gift. So I had to take her over there. She made me
like
something.
yeah.
She had her paint a flower pot, and they picked out a flower to put in it for me. It's by the front door. You probably saw it.
Yeah. I did see that.
Yeah.
That's cute.
It's very cute. I'm like, oh, that's so cute. But then I called my grandma the day before. Yeah, maybe it was the day before Mother's Day or 2 days. Anyway, and she kind of ruined the surprise for me. Because I told her, hey, I heard that you're sick. I probably won't see you on Mother's Day. Just wish you a happy Mother's Day. And I have a gift for you. Whenever you feel up to it, I'll come drop it off. And she goes, oh, yeah, I'd love that, And we talk on the phone for a little bit. And she's like, oh, yeah, your mom was talking about getting flower pots and flowers. And I was like, oh. Anyway, so she ruined the entire surprise, which is fine, It's whatever. It's so cute, though.
Well, one time I made a diaper cake for somebody's baby shower, and it was the first one I had ever made, and I was 18. And I made it, and I sent a picture to my mom, and she posted it on Facebook and tagged the girl that it was for. I'm like, why? Why did you do that?
Yeah.
She's like, but I'm so proud of you. And I'm like,
You couldn't wait till after I gave it to her?
yeah. Literally the next day.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
you have so much recap. I don't.
Oh, no, it's fine. We can take as many times.
Yeah.
The topic that we're doing today is going to take up a lot of the episode.
Yeah.
But, anyways, so also, I guess I could recap Mother's Day. It's technically my third Mother's Day. It's not like my first or anything.
Yeah.
But, like, the tradition in my family is to take all the women and we go out to eat. Mm-hmm. And that's including the female children and the whatever, and we all go. But this year, my grandma was sick and my cousins weren't coming down. So, like, that wasn't happening. So we ended up, and my other sister had something to do with her daughters. So me and my other sister and her family and my mom and my brother went to, and obviously my family, went to Texas Roadhouse, and it was delicious as always. But we waited an hour and like 45 minutes. And my sister brought me Doritos because I was starving. But I really liked it, actually, the waiting, if I wasn't, like, starving, because it gave us time to, like, I was sitting in the back of the car, like, in the trunk area, and my niece sat with me, and I found out she has a boyfriend, and because no one tells me anything, and apparently they've been dating for months. So, like, when you're in the restaurant, because they split us into two different, like, booths, so, like, we didn't get to talk to them, and no offense to my family, but I see them all the time. I wanted to see my sister's family. But, like, that, so that gave me a time to talk to everybody. And, like, there's something going off my nose. So, like, I really liked that, actually, the waiting, because, you know, yeah. And Joshua did because I asked for flowers this year and, like, a memento kind of thing from her. And so he did a picture of my handprint. He blindfolded me and did my handprint. And he did her handprint. And it's elephants. And it says her name and mama. And I was like, that's so cute. Yeah, he turned the handprints into elephants. I thought it was so cute.
That is so cute.
I loved it so much. I'm like, I love it. Because I always give people, like I told you, that's my Mother's Day presents, is to get her to make gifts, so I don't have to buy anything. Just the supplies to give to them. So, like, I have something now to remember, and I'm like, oh, I love that so much. Yeah. It kind of made me a little teary. But anyway, yeah. And then we spoiled her, and, well, Dad did. And we got her a cake that she picked out at the store when we went grocery shopping. And it was a pink, like a strawberry cake, and it was, like, unicorn theme. And she picked it up from the shelf and was like, ooh, you know. So we got it, and we got funfetti frosting. And I let her help me make it, and it was all cute and stuff. And I'm so excited about that age that she is, because she wants to help, and she somewhat can. I mean, I learned the hard way that she cannot do eggs yet, because it went everywhere. She was only mimicking me, and I thought she'd only hold the egg, but she cracked it, and it went, and I was like, okay. Yeah.
Happens all the time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then another thing that I'm doing is I got a parenting book. Not that I needed any help, but I noticed that I have been less patient with her, and as she's growing older, like, I don't know, sometimes I just feel so lost in the parenting.
Yeah.
Because, you know, she's my first, don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And so I got this parenting book called Raising Good Humans. And there's another one on the way that's more like illustrated instead of just words. And that one's called Raising Tiny Humans, I think. Yeah, but they're by different people. I was like, okay. But and it's emotional. I read it. What is going on with my nose? So the day I got it, I read it after she went to sleep, and he was over here playing his game, and I put it down. And this book also makes you do some journaling.
Mm-hmm.
And I like how she writes, because she kind of writes like I do, and she's like, I know what you're thinking. Why would a book have you write stuff down too? And she was like, it would help you learn more about yourself if you participate in the writing prompts.
Yeah.
And luckily I like to write, so it wasn't that bad for me. So
It's like the perfect book for you.
Right. So I did that, and the first prompts it said was, it gives you lists of questions and you answer them. And it was like, what are you struggling with? What would you like to improve on? What are your triggers? Stuff like that. And how does parenting look like for you? And how do you want it to look like? And so I wrote all that out. And I just let my brain go. I didn't think about it. I just wrote. And I think that's the most authentic way you can do it, instead of thinking about it. And I was like, okay, cool. And she said, date it, because it's going to be kind of like a log to you, so that when, like, 5 months down the way, you could be like, oh, wow, that's how I used to be. And hopefully now I'm better, you know?
Yeah.
So, and then I got through that page. I'm halfway through the book already.
Yeah.
And that was only in one day. I need to start reading it again. But it's so hard to find the time.
Yeah.
And then the next chapter, it had, and this is where it starts getting emotional, is because it had me write down, it was talking about your childhood and trying not to pass on and saying childhood trauma in my case doesn't feel like the word it should be, because I had very good parents. And I don't want them to ever think that I'm calling them bad parents.
Yeah, no.
It's just, I guess, my childhood experience, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
Because, like, she's like, how would you describe your childhood was like? Who was in your childhood, and what were they like? What would your parents do if you were in distress? What would they do when you were happy? Just stuff like that. And how does it affect you in your adult life? And reflecting back on that, does it reflect onto your parenting, how you were parented? And I after I wrote all that down, like I said, I'm just letting my brain go, just letting the pen do its thing, you know.
Yeah.
And things were coming out that I had no idea that I even had those experiences, you know.
Yeah.
And after I I marked my page and folded the journal and put it down, and I just, like, sat in silence. And he noticed, and he's like, are you okay? I was like, I don't know. And I start, like, crying. And so, like, it's emotional. Like, I didn't realize the things that I was writing down. And, like, wow. And so I'm trying, like, the things that she said to do, I'm implementing now. Mm-hmm. She said to try it for a week and then write down your experiences with it.
Yeah.
And so, and I don't know if it's shock to them. I've probably said it many times, so have you, that we're criers.
Oh, yeah.
I've always been a crier since forever. It's easy as breathing for me. It's my first instinct of everything that happens. Happy, sad, mad, I do it first. So it's the same way with my child. I gave her that. That just passed through the genes, I guess. I don't know who gave it to me. Don't know why. But anyway, so I gave it to her. And she's a very emotional child. As you saw her I don't know what that was. She wanted.
was very upset
Yes.
about that stroller.
Yes, she just wanted to push it, and
Yeah.
it wouldn't go. And how dare you not go?
I get that, though, because you ever get a really bad shopping cart, it makes
Yes.
you feel like that.
It
Especially
does,
if you're
yes.
going to the store hangry, or you're irritated because it took too long to get everybody to go to the store, or you're by yourself so you're scared.
Me.
And then you're drawing attention to yourself by this loud, obnoxious cart that nobody's paying attention to, but you think they are.
Yes,
And it feels like it.
because you're your main character.
Exactly.
Yes.
So you're like, oh my God, everybody's staring at me and all this noise, and they're like,
I need
what
apples
brand?
today.
Yeah, what brand of butter do I need?
Exactly.
Is my wife gonna yell at me about this butter? Something, I don't know.
Exactly.
They do not care about you.
Exactly. So, the thing that the book said to do is when she's having it. So, one of my triggers is her crying, which is upsetting to me because I know I'm that way. So, why is it triggering me that she's doing exactly what I'm doing? And it turns out, and sorry, Mom, if this offends you, but my mom's first instinct, and a lot of people in my life, first instinct was, why are you crying again? Or just calm down, it's not that big of a deal. And I found myself doing the same thing.
Yep.
And that would, that breaks my heart that I do that. But that's just one of my triggers that happens to me. Yeah. Or that and that's just maybe the age she's in where she ignores me, or she doesn't do what I ask her to do the first time.
Yeah.
And that's one of my triggers because as a child, I also felt that I was people's last choice, or I was not being listened to, or my opinions didn't matter. So my kid doing these things, or sometimes even when my husband does these things, it triggers me. And I keep hitting the mic. So that's another thing that happens. So what the book suggested to do is get down to her level and acknowledge how she feels, because as toddlers, they just want you to know how they're feeling.
Yeah.
And so I've been doing that and I've, like, the next day I tried it, and she was crying about something, and I got down to her and I said, I understand that you're upset right now. What's wrong? And she stopped crying and went down the hallway. I don't know, but she stopped crying. And then I've tried it multiple days now, and every single time she stopped crying, and she doesn't exactly literally tell me what she wants, but she stops my trigger, you know.
Yeah.
So, and that sounds so, like, about me, but it's also helping her, and I'm not, the main thing is I'm validating how she feels.
Exactly.
So she's not going to have that trigger, hopefully, in the future, like I do.
Yeah.
And I think that's the main thing that the book was trying to get me to do.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where, like, it's generational. It'll just go and go and go because you know, and
my grandma was that kind of person probably to my mom, and that's why my mom was the way to me, is because probably my grandma was like, why are you crying? Or maybe my papa, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because that's what the book was saying, is generationally, because she yelled at her kids because her dad yelled at her.
Yeah.
And so it just passes down because you typically parent the way that you were parented.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can't help it, because she was talking about the fight or flight mode that are, because when you're raising children, you can love them more than yourself. But, like, when you get triggered like that, it's like you can't help it.
It is a physical reaction in your body.
It is, because sometimes when she doesn't listen to me, I can feel... What are you looking at? Sorry.
I don't know.
I thought a cat was over here. I was like, what are you looking at?
No, my glasses are...
Oh. Because I can feel the heat in my body rising up, and I get angry. And I don't get angry. So I'm like, why am I getting so mad at a child that doesn't even know what she's doing?
Yeah.
Why does it trigger this feeling in me. So that's why originally I got the book, because I've noticed how angry I get with her. And kids also push your buttons.
That's what they do best.
Yeah. So I think it is helping in a way. And I'm curious what the rest of the book looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, that was a big spiel. Sorry. I'm going to be talking a lot this episode.
Which is fine because my voice is going in and out because I've been working more and talking more.
Yeah. And also, I wanted to say about the moms that are experiencing this thing. If you want to get the book, you can go ahead and do that. I got it on Amazon. And if you are doing these things and you're yelling at your kids, don't feel bad. Give yourself grace. Raising children is very hard.
Yeah.
And you're exactly what your baby needs. Yes. And I wanted to say how Boo Boo is talking more. And I recorded this video of her, if I could find it, of her counting, because she can count 1 through 10 now, and I'm just so proud of my kid. Oh, let me start it over.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
She stops at 9. And I'm like, but I mean, she's so stinking smart.
Yeah.
And her favorite words are like baby, her name. She says her name now. That's wild to me. She calls for Wawa even if she's staring right at it. Or you heard her saying Wawa, and I was filling it up. I'm like, I'm getting it, dude. Like,
no, me and her were both over here going Wawa, Wawa, Wawa.
Okay,
it was funny.
That makes more sense. I was like, why? You okay, Scoob? Like,
that was not. Was that Scoob?
Was that Scooby?
Was that,
I couldn't tell.
I thought that was Ivory.
Oh, it could be.
I thought I saw more white than gray.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They're playing with something. She says flower, truck, tractor, car. Yesterday was super exciting because my parents live right by a farm, and she got to see a tractor up close. And she just thought that was the coolest thing ever. And I'm like, it is. That's so cool. And I'm like, that's the perks of being this close. Is like, because she has a book of tractors, and she just thinks it's so cool.
My littlest niece used to watch Blippi, and so when she was 3, she was talking about excavators. I was like, I don't even know what that is, kid, but okay. And then we were going down the highway one time. We passed a construction site, and she saw one.
Nice.
She was like, Hedda, it's the excavator. It's like, okay.
That's awesome.
There was a fuzzy in my sock, but it was like a rolled fuzzy.
Oh,
So it was
I
hard.
hate those.
It was like, yeah.
Oh, it was her. Wonder what that was that she was playing with. It sounded like a pencil or something.
Yeah, it sounded like pencils.
I don't have pencils.
Color pencils?
Yeah, I do have those. Maybe that's what it is.
Because weirdly, that's what I was going to say was it sounded like colored pencils.
Ew, that's so weird that you can tell the difference.
It's not even that I can really tell the difference. I just am used to that volume of pencils being like colored pencils. And, I mean, I live with a 15-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 5-year-old, so we've got colored pencils. Scooby used to knock them over and just go to town. So
Yeah.
I recognize that sound.
Oh, yeah, I guess I could update Scooby. He's doing better now.
Yeah.
He's not yowling through the night like he used to. I already told you, but I tell them, I guess. We had to buy a new water bowl because boy was knocking it over every day. And that's just annoying because I have carpet everywhere. So,
I'm sorry.
oh no, it's fine. He's just a baby, and that Ivory used to do the same thing, but she wouldn't be able to knock the whole thing over. So I'm like, how are you knocking this over? Why are you doing it? And so that's why I bought the new one that we have that has like a spout, and it just it did like continuous running.
Yeah.
And I thought, because that's why they dip their feet in, to make sure it's usable water, that it's safe to drink. And sticking your litter covered paw in it, I don't understand what that's about. That's
Gross.
not clean anymore, but whatever. So he would knock it over all the time, but now with the new bowl, they're all terrified of it. They won't go near it. And I was terrified because I don't know what it is about these cats, but I'm always afraid something's going to happen. So I was afraid they were getting dehydrated, so we took the thing off, and now it's just the bowl part. So hopefully now they're drinking from it. But I'm like, my dudes, why are you scared of this thing that your breed is supposed to like? Like, what is wrong with you? Yeah. Yeah. What else is he doing? Still sleeping through the day like he was, and he's not chasing them as much anymore.
Yeah, that's good.
It's been, 2 weeks now, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's going, we're closer to getting them fixed.
Yeah. We're, 2.5, 3 weeks away?
I think. I don't know.
But, yeah. 2 weeks and 3 days from today.
That's crazy.
From the time you guys are watching it, 11 days.
Yeah, there we go. I like that better. See, it's so hard not to hit the mics, dude. Okay, I guess we'll get right into it. So, we are doing this week a snapped episode. We were going to do a game, but
I
Hef was
had
busy.
to work too much.
Yes.
And now I'm scheduled 34 hours next week.
Wow.
My normal amount of hours, like this week, that I'm like currently in, is 22 and a half. Next week is 34.
Wow. That's a lot.
I'm off Tuesday night.
That's good. That's good. Also, there needs to be a warning because it talks of sensitive subjects like SA and a itty bitty amount of child loss and obviously murder, because I don't know if you watch these sort of things, but Snapped is a show about people murdering people for any reason, really, you can think of. So I decided to do one, about Ohio, woo! For the first one. I don't know what you're looking at me. You're kind of looking at me like a guilty kid that's got a cookie out.
I'm just ready to listen.
Yeah. Okay, so this episode was season 24, episode 4. Episode name, I guess, is Jeremy Simko. Do you know how many times I had to remind myself that it's Julene and not Jolene? Even the stupid, because, okay, when I was listening to I'm going to be really honest here. I did no research, so if anything's wrong, it is not my fault. It is Snap's fault, because I watched and listened and wrote. That's what I did. So, when I wrote all of it down, and then I was doing text to speak option thing, talk to the other way.
Talk to text.
Yes. It kept typing Jolene or Jean or I forget the other version. I'm like, no. Why? Or no, Julian. Sometimes it would say Julian. And I'm like, that's close. Not it, though. And Simcoe is super easy. Anyway, so the morning of November 18th, 2009, in Vermilion, Ohio, dispatchers got a frantic call. A woman frantically saying she needs help because someone shot her husband. The caller is 31-year-old Jeremy Simko. The victim is her husband and local businessman, Jeremy Simko. She is hysterical and crying and communicating is difficult. As it should be, as, her husband just died. The 911 operator instructs her to give CPR to Jeremy, but that is when she reveals that she thinks the person who shot him is still in the house. Police and EMTs get there and the front door is locked, so they go to the back of the house where it is unlocked and wide open. Officers head upstairs and the only light in the house is under a door that is closed. They announce who they are and Julene opens the door and is naked, only covered in a sheet. She is hysterical. I don't know why they keep repeating that she's hysterical. We get it. She's hysterical. She's in a room with a dead body. I'd be hysterical too. She was covered in blood. Awesome. Mr. Simko is on the floor, also naked, and has an obvious gunshot wound. He is laying on his back. Julene asks for them to help him, but there's nothing for EMTs to do because he is already gone. Now we get to the background. We back up a little bit. Julene Nick was born and raised in northern Ohio and seemed to be happy in her simple life. She was in the honor society and advanced classes. People describe her as smart and pleasant to be around. She was nice to everyone, timid, and if you were to meet her, you'd think she was a great person and always happy. But all that was on the outside. On the inside, that was not the case. As a child, she was a victim of SA by her father, who was sent to prison for said crime. Her mother eventually divorced him, and they moved to Lorain County, Ohio. Her mother married again, giving her a stepfather and a stepbrother, and it gave her a steady, normal life. A friend of Julene, Jean Marie Becker, said that she seemed to love her stepfather and talked about him like he was her birth father. So that's nice. Even with life more stable, she found it hard to let anyone get close, including high school sweetheart Jack Hyder Jr. After graduating high school in 1997, she met a friend of her boyfriend's, 23-year-old Jeremy Simko. Unlike Julene, he was an aggressive person. He was described as a dominant person. He's not someone you crossed, and if you did, you should expect a fight. He loved the outdoors, hunting, and nature. He worked as a tree trimmer and arborist.
A tree surgeon. I was going to say a tree doctor.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. It literally says a tree surgeon.
Wow, I didn't know there were such things. I guess it makes sense with the tree dying or not. Also, side note, when I was speak to text on my iPad, because that's what I was using originally, I was doing this and I was whispering at it. And it's like I was telling it a secret.
You were doing ASMR.
I was.
I wish I had nails. I would do that.
Yeah.
No,
I
do
did.
that. Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
That's free. It's on the house.
Okay. Another friend said that he was a man's man and hardworking. It paid well, and he seemed to turn his life around, and he even got engaged. But the shy 18-year-old Julene seemed to catch his eye the second he saw her. It took everyone by surprise, as she was more of a goody two-shoes, and he was known as the opposite. Within days of knowing her, Jeremy broke off his engagement. Sadly, Julene's boyfriend saw them together, and Jack broke contact completely. So she didn't even have the decency to break up with him. Rude.
Wow.
Yeah. Despite a rocky start, Jeremy and Julene were inseparable. A reporter, Katie Nix, said that they were made for each other and made each other better. He brought her out of her shell, and Julene helped Jeremy dial back his temperament. Friends said that they were enamored with each other, and it seemed that they were best friends. Cute. A few months later, Jeremy opened his business called Simko Tree Service. Julene worked alongside him. Again, people saying how it seemed like it just worked for the couple. On September 4th, 1999, they got married. Soon after, they bought a farmhouse and a barn on 2 acres of land in Vermilion. That's how we get to Vermilion. You could tell that they took care of the house and the land, and there were some woods behind them that they used, even though it didn't belong to them. Eventually, that land went on the market, but unfortunately, a 42-acre Lot was a lot of money, more than they had. But really wanting it, they started saving and wanted to start a family. They tried for many years, even though at one point she did get pregnant, but sadly she lost it. In 2009, the Simcoes could finally afford the land they wanted because the price came down for it. But before they could buy the property, the unthinkable happened. Back to the crime. After the police cleared the house, they assumed that the perpetrator fled the scene. So they go out and search the area. While that is happening, officers in the house get Julian out of the bedroom, away from her husband's body. She frantically tells them that she needs to see him, and they calmly tell her that they understand but can't let her. Officers find it best to escort her to the hospital. In the tiny town Vermilion, news start to break about the shooting. Being a tiny town, they don't deal with many homicides. The last one that they had was 2 years before that. So yeah, they don't deal with a lot of those. With a potential shooter on the loose, everyone is on edge. The police are scrambling, trying to find the shooter before anything else can happen. The police, looking for clues, start surveying the Simcoe property. Apparently, Jeremy was a very security-conscious person. There were security dogs and cameras everywhere. There were alarms all on the doors, by the garage, and on the windows. Police found black cotton gloves on the ground outside. So then inside, they find a massive gun safe under the stairs, but it's locked. They find a .357 Magnum in the kitchen. I asked my brother about that, and apparently it's huge.
Yeah.
Did not know. 5 rounds are in it, and 1 already shot. They could tell. On the second floor, they find 3 bullet holes in the walls. They find a 3mm in the bedroom, and also in the bedroom and bathroom, they find toys of the sexual kind. The police go to the hospital to question Julian, whom the doctors have said is still shaken but okay to talk. Julian tells them that they had a peaceful day that day, canning and doing chores. They locked the dogs up and went to bed around 12 midnight, she thinks. Jeremy fell asleep quickly and was snoring, so she went upstairs and fell asleep on the 3rd floor couch. She said that what woke her was a noise, like shooting or something. Upon further questionings, she says it was like a boom. She said it was common for Jeremy to shoot coyotes to protect the dogs outside. She chalks it up to that and went to go back to sleep, but decides to check on Jeremy anyways. Goes downstairs and saw him laying on the bed. She checks on him and feels something wet. She switches on the light and sees blood, and he is unresponsive. She didn't see anybody, but she heard someone. She explains what Jeremy always told her. If she hears something, grab a gun and shoot in the direction of the noise, and that should scare them off. So that explains the holes that they found in the bedroom. Mm-hmm. It was kind of like the bedroom or the hallway, really.
Yeah.
Also, they asked Julian about the toys, and she says they were not active that night, and those things have been out for a couple days. And I was like, that's disgusting. Mm-hmm. She claims that they had no fights that day or night, and everything was fine. After being asked if anyone would do this, she said that they have had a lot of break-ins recently in the barn. The police noted that was the purpose for all the security. Police believe Julian as her story lines up with all the evidence that they have found. Julian is released from the hospital and goes to stay with her mother. The investigators pull surveillance footage from the house, which is a DVR style. Guess that way it's easier to it stores up more.
Yeah.
Which is good. It recorded everything, including the time of the murder, but the difficulty is that there are blind spots. So if someone knew the blind spots where they were, then they could escape without being seen. Broadening the search, they found on an abandoned school, 2 minutes away from the Simcoe house. They found a car parked there. One of the night officers said that he thinks he ran a plate of a similar vehicle. After some investigation, they realize that the vehicle they saw that night of the murder and the car just discovered is the same SUV. They go to the owner of the SUV's home, and the husband of the owner answers the door. They explain why they are there, and he says his wife has been gone sometimes with no explanation.
Uh-oh.
They call the wife, who explains that she's embarrassed, but she is having a secret affair and uses that parking space for rendezvous.
Yikes.
But not with Jeremy Simko. Ooh. They call the guy she claims is having an affair with, and he affirms that they are indeed having one. So she's not the killer. Cool, great. Trail has now gone cold. The next morning, the police get a call from Julene saying she just got home and it has been broken into. They discover a kicked-in door, the gun safe tampered with using a fireplace poker, and $2,000 missing. Did the killer come back, or what?
Yeah, I don't know. That's usually not even a thing unless they're trying to, like, kill her, too.
Right. The fire poker came back clean with no fingerprints. Police call
Gloves.
around. Right. Police call around more of the people that knew Jeremy and discovered there are plenty of people who would want him dead. Jeremy has had fights with plenty of people and wasn't afraid to tell someone exactly how he feels. He would withhold money from people if they didn't do a job to his satisfaction. So they were like, oh, great, does that mean that someone could have came in? That's maybe why the cash is missing, because they took money from him. Yeah.
The job that they completed or whatever or something.
So they go through and check out all the people who may have wanted to hurt him. They're all dead ends as the case gets colder and colder. Then on November 25th, Julene throws a remembrance party for Jeremy. One of the guests is police officer Corey Spores. He knew them because he had worked for them in the past. While he was there, he observed that Julene said something to another guest about not being able to tell them what really happened. Sounds fishy, but could mean, like, I don't remember, but also could be an admission.
Yeah.
When they call to talk to her, they find that she has lawyered up, which is like,
Why would you do that?
Exactly. Just then, they get the Simcoe's business and personal finances, and right away they notice that they were in deep financial trouble. They were filing with the IRS with one set of finances, but actually had a whole other set that was the truth, and it was really bad. They were back on their rent and back on a lot of bills. They found the document saying they were denied to get the loan for the 42-acre property. I said that really weird, sorry. Property behind them that they really wanted, but they were denied the day before Jeremy was murdered. Suspicious? Yes. I even wrote that, sorry.
Yeah.
I am a goofy goober. Anyway.
It was very necessary.
Yeah. So the police go to the coroner's report for more insight. The coroner determined that he died from a close-range gunshot wound from the back of the head. Yikes. Most intruders are not going to get that close to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. They are becoming very suspicious of Julene because everything that they are learning now comes back to her. When fingerprints come back from the gun that was used to kill Jeremy, it only had both Simcoe DNA on it, and it appears to have been wiped.
Yep.
There was no stranger DNA on the gun at all. With no probable cause, they can't make an arrest. As months pass, they're trying to solve the murder, but with it being a small town, time and manpower is in short supply.
Yeah.
Even with all the suspicion on Julene, years pass before anything new breaks the case. Police receive a call from Al Hopp and Jean Marie Baker, if you remember, that's her friend, who are friends with the couple. They tell them that after Jeremy died, that Julene was quick to get rid of everything that was his, including the farmhouse. Which, I mean, to play devil's advocate, though, like, if God forbid something happened to him, I don't know if I could stay here. I don't know what I would do. Just playing devil advocate here.
But that's the thing too. It's like it's hard to stay somewhere after somebody has passed.
Friends seem to think that she moved on rather quickly and never asked or searched into who did it. Like Julene wasn't acting upset or in any anger about her husband being murdered, which I feel like I would be very angry about.
Yeah.
Also, they said before the murder, something seemed off about the couple. I didn't fix it, and it says Julian. Julene wouldn't talk and would look to Jeremy before answering anybody. Jeremy was an aggressive personality. They really dig that home, don't they? Was there trouble in the marriage? Maybe she thought that he was being too aggressive and the only way to get out was to kill him.
Yeah, maybe he put his hands on her.
Maybe.
You never know.
Well, I do, but you don't know yet.
Oh, okay.
Police went back through the personal documents that they got from the Simko house and found pictures of Julene in bondage, and in some looked like it was less than consensual. They also found what looks like a 14-page marriage contract between them, a master-slave agreement, which that's not, it's not always bad. Some marriages work with that just not my style of marriage.
Yeah.
But yeah, moving on. It was very descriptive where they would talk about their roles they would be, and it may have been triggering something from her past.
Yeah.
Because police knew she was a child victim, and maybe he forced her into said contract. After nearly 4 years, police contact Julene's lawyer to request an interview. She agrees, and the police confront her with the new evidence. She said she wasn't forced to do anything and that she consented fully. She says it was role-playing and it wasn't every day. They still don't have anything justifiable to arrest her for murder. At this point, though, they felt comfortable saying that she was the person who did it, and there was nothing irrefutable, because, if it's circumstantial, there's nothing they need something concrete to.
Yeah.
So, 4 more years. So now we're in 2014. They finally get a break in the case. Al Hopp tells them that he knows someone that may have new information about Julene. A friend's wife who works at the hospital Julene went to on the morning of the murder. If you remember. Yeah. So she was one of the first responders that was there when it came to Julene. On November 18th, 2014, investigators speak to her. She remembers thinking, why is she in here? All she has is blood on her. And she thinks she remembers Julene saying something to another nurse, saying, I just shot my husband. And the nurse asked, what did you say? And Julene said, oh, someone shot my husband. Yeah. At that time, the nurse thought it was just a state of shock, which, I mean, could be.
You kind of just like, okay.
Yeah, but the longer it went unsolved and the more details that came around the town, the more the nurse started to suspect the opposite.
Yeah.
On December 19th, 2014, Julene was indicted for aggravated murder, felonious assault, and tampering with evidence. So all they really needed, I guess, is someone to say, hey, she said this thing. Because no one else could really say anything, So they actually were able to arrest her now. She turns herself in. Unfortunately, the case is almost entirely circumstantial. The defense worry that the trial wouldn't be impartial as how rural, I can't say that word.
Yeah.
The county is, because again, it's a very small town. So they request a bench trial, which is when the judge makes a decision instead of a normal judicial trial.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think that was kind of stupid on her part, because only one mind versus 12.
Yeah.
On September 12th, 2017, so we went from 14 to 17. It's taken a long road to get here. Julian's bench trial begins. The prosecution basically says that they feel like the stress of not getting the property, the stress of the BDSM relationship, and being abused as a child made her snap.
Yeah.
The defense counters saying that the whole case is on speculation, even though that they have the forensic proof that no evidence of the break-in happened, and all the DNA is of the Simcoes.
Yeah.
There's no stranger DNA anywhere. But they state poor investigation, and because of that, the judge can't convict on pure speculation. Julie, that's what it says. I really need to, proofread these things. Julie, that's her name, okay, refuses to take the stand, so on September 22nd, the defense rests its case. So literally from the 17th to the 22nd, that was as long as that trial went. That is short.
Yeah.
So on October 20th, 2017, so at least he took his time, Judge Mark Betlisky hands down a guilty verdict. He says it came down to the evidence supporting that forensically there was no one else there, so he sentenced her to 28 years. Julene Simko will be eligible for parole in 2045. So that is the story of the murder of Jeremy Simko.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. She definitely did it.
Right? I mean...
She did it.
I mean... And I'm, I know she did it, but I can also see, the stress of it would have, messed with your head some. If I was abused as a child and then my husband's basically doing the same thing.
Yeah, I don't care if you consent to that or not. If it's been in your past as abuse, then it's going to trigger something inside of you at one point or another.
Because I also didn't mention it, but she couldn't even tell her high school boyfriend about her birth dad. She couldn't even talk to him about that. So I don't even know if she told Jeremy about it.
Yeah.
She really never brought up her birth dad ever again. Really.
Yeah. That's insane.
And, I mean, they don't really talk about Jeremy's parents, how he was raised. Just, they keep drilling it in your head.
That he was aggressive.
And I'm like, but he's the victim.
He got murdered.
Yes. I get it. He was aggressive, and he was a very domineering person. But he was also a person.
Didn't deserve to get murdered.
Yes.
There's a difference. There's hey... Maybe you should go to jail. Maybe somebody should punch you in the face. Not maybe you should die. That is not a thing. That's not okay.
And one of his friends and one of her friends, the Jean Marie, said that they were both her friends and he treated her well. And it seemed on the outside that everything was fine. She never had visible markings or anything.
Right. And they had just said that, she softened him up and he brought her out of her shell. They were really good for each other, yada yada, and it probably was just the stress.
Yeah.
But
that shouldn't be up to Julene to be he needs to die.
Yeah. I get really stressed out. I have anxiety and I take medication for it, prescription medication.
Nothing is wrong with getting
and that's fine.
Mental help. Go to a psychiatrist.
Yeah. Get help. Get medicine.
Yeah.
Don't murder.
With that.
Don't murder people.
Murder people. Divorce is a thing.
Yeah. You can get divorced. If you feel unsafe, you can go to the police. Say, hey, I feel unsafe. Can you take me somewhere safe? They'll get you somewhere safe. They will get you somewhere safe.
Yeah. I feel bad for her. I do. But I also feel bad for him. Yeah. It's one of those cases that...
I feel bad for you, but, you still should not have murdered.
Yeah, exactly. And he shouldn't have been doing the things that he was doing.
Yeah.
Because...
He needs therapy for
But I wonder if he did know about her birth dad in that story.
Yeah.
Because and also, I didn't know how to I can't say.
Delicately?
Yes. Say... in the marriage thing that they had, the 14-page
contract.
Yeah. There was a part in it that the roles that they would play is father-daughter stuff.
Oh, she had to that, and you consented to that, even if he didn't know.
She says she fully consented. She said she did. And she said it wasn't every day.
That's no.
Yeah.
No.
I love my husband, but if he's like borderline
No. Yeah, that's gross.
Mm-hmm.
That's so gross. Get out. Bye. Done. Either that, or the only other thing that it could be, other than him liking kids, would be him fantasizing about what her dad did to her.
That's what I mean. Like,
Yeah, like, and either scenario is
but even
deeply
if
disturbing.
Exactly, because that's what I was wondering also. And there was a part, and I don't remember, I guess I didn't write it down, I meant to, that her dad's obituary was on their computer.
That's freaky.
Yeah.
That's weird.
And she claims that she didn't do that. So I don't know if she actually did or if he did. They didn't say. They don't know how, if she denies it.
Yeah.
And he's dead.
Yeah.
So.
He can't really be like, I didn't do it. I'm dead.
I guess he could, but he's a ghost, so nobody can hear him.
I didn't do it. Ooh.
But I do
Respect. To the
respect,
dead. Respect.
Pew pew,
always.
he dead,
Whatever, all of the things.
Yes. So that's, yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those cases, But if you guys like this, and I could always do it again.
Yeah.
Because even though it was so much writing, I do enjoy. I sounds weird. I am fascinated by
crime.
I
am too. It's okay.
Yes. I want to know why.
Yeah. Why do you do the things that you do?
Yes. Which most of them, it seems, because the classic question is bred or it's bred or born with it? Is that what the question is?
I don't know.
Basically, like,
you say born with it, I think maybe it's Maybelline.
Well, it's more like they're like, did something happen in their past and make them do it, or were they born a killer, basically?
Yeah, were they born this way? Oh, yeah, bred or born. When you said bread, I was thinking about bread, like that you eat. I was like, what are we talking about bread for?
I was like, why is she confused?
Because I was thinking about bread.
Because a lot of killers, especially the really famous ones that y'all probably already know, is they had a bonk on the head. Yeah. Especially in the front area where all your decisions are made from. They had major injury to it.
Yeah.
So something goes bonkers up there. So
don't drop your kids.
Yeah. I forget what happened to most of them. But I mean, what also I think made Ted Bundy snap, because I've recently listened to another person talk about him, and what made him snap, I think, is because his life was basically a lie. Because when he was born to a teenage mother.
Yeah.
And so her parents' solution was, okay, you're his sister and we're his parents. And then he found out somehow, and it just rocked his world, as it would.
Yeah.
You mean my sister is my mom? And nobody told me. Yeah. So, I don't exactly remember where he went from there, but his victims were modeled after his... He really liked politics, and he was in politics. Mm-hmm. And he had a college girlfriend, and she was like the elite status, like what he wanted into, but she was like bi after a little bit, and he didn't like that. So he just constantly, that's what all his victims were, is him chasing after her.
Yeah.
And he eventually did get with her, but he didn't stop killing. He found it was kind of like the chase. Like, he finally got her and he's like, oh, well, you're boring.
Time to start murder.
No, it was before that. He was murdering lots before.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that he even had a victim that was only 12 years old.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I'm like, that's so upsetting to me.
Actually, I only learned that recently myself.
Yeah. But I knew about, like, the college attacks that he did.
Yeah.
And I learned about all that, and how he would lure women is he would have, like, casts, and, like, he would do that, and he would be like, hey,
play the sympathy card.
yeah, and he'd be like, can you come help me? I can't, like, I have something to carry, and I can't. Can you carry this to my car? Or, like, he tried to lure this one girl, but thankfully she, like, was like, this is fishy, because he's like, hey, I'm trying to tow something, and I can't hook it up or something. And she walks up, and he notices it. She notices it's a bug or something. I forget what kind of car he had. And she's like, that can't carry a trailer, and saw no trailer in sight. So she runs, but then the same day he gets another girl.
Yeah.
And that's just sad. But yeah, that's how he did most of it. Was it a bug? It's brown. I know that, but I don't remember what kind of car it was.
It was something. It was something compact like that.
Yeah, it was very small. But how...
I think it was anyway. I don't know.
Yeah, but then he escaped from prison when he finally got caught, because he represented himself as his own lawyer, and they let him freely roam around the library. And then he jumped out the library window and ran states away, and they caught him again, and he thought he was all cocky and whatever, and, like, they won't know who I am and whatever. They have your fingerprints, dude. They know who you are. So then, I don't remember if they extradited him or if he just did trials there. I don't remember. And I'm pretty sure he murdered there, too, when he ran.
Probably.
Yeah.
Couldn't resist.
Maybe we could do another one of those, or... I could never do John Wayne Gacy.
No.
Too many minors.
Yep.
I couldn't do, what's the one guy?
Jeffrey Dahmer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Too much. Cannibalism makes me want to physically throw up.
I feel like I'm going to go into convulsions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, and he also had minors, right? That's what I thought.
I think. Maybe. Yeah, I think at least one.
Okay. I don't understand it. Find people your own age. Well, and don't murder them.
Yeah, that's probably the bigger issue is
but
the
that's
murder.
the thing. He wasn't even trying to murder them in the beginning. He was just trying to create a zombie, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't.
He was also messed up from his family, though, so I wonder if it was born or bred.
Well, it's not the bread that you eat. But he sure did eat.
He did eat. Ugh.
Oh, that's so gross.
Yeah. Anyway.
Don't eat people.
That was the fastest hour ever. Anyway. Okay. Well. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and thanks for hanging out with us. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
And come back next week for more nonsense.
Bye.
Bye.